Oh, what's up? Welcome to the Unofficial Tedeschi Trucks podcast. This is episode number 202. I am Adam Choit. Follow the show at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on Instagram. Like, subscribe, do all those things on YouTube as well. Patreon.com/TTB podcast. Thank you, Kathleen, Stacy, Troy, Daniel, Mariah, Bo, and Marion. Appreciate the support. Definitely check that out if you want to support the show. It's appreciated. Patreon.com/TTB podcast. Weedside and Woodside, if you need a dispensary for all your dispensary needs in the New York City area, in the metro area, friend of the show, definitely check out Weedside in Woodside. I have all the links in the episode description as well, of course. What are we talking about today? We're talking about the band. When I say the band is TTB, of course. Talking about the band in Bend, Oregon. Did a couple of shows there. And as well in Quincy, Washington, the Gorge. Let's bring in returning guests and frequent contributors, Mariah and Christopher, and also Kirka making his return. And let's talk TTB in the Pacific Northwest. What's up?
Hey there.
Hey,
we're all here. Oh, how are we doing? How's everybody doing? Everybody's back home.
It's dark. Yeah, we're outside. Clearly, it's dark.
No, not yet.
The lights behind us. So. Yeah.
Nice. And Kirka, where are you? You're back home too, obviously.
Back home in Seattle.
Nice. And you saw the last two in Bend, right?
Actually, I only got to go to the last one in Bend.
Oh, the last one. Okay.
Yeah, the best one in Bend.
We'll get into it. Things been good with you though, in general.
Just fantastic. It's like getting ready for the Kofi Day of Service on September 19th, and for the first time up here in Seattle. So I'm getting to head the thing this year. So it's cool, man. 26 cities this year.
That's awesome and appreciated. And I think that must be the record. Like every year, I think it's more and more cities every year. That's good. And I'm all set up. I'm all signed up for LA as well. It's super cool. Yeah. I know there's a New York one and a Long Island one, and I got to make sure to get the link to that and to separate that and in the descriptions and get that posted as much as I can too. For sure.
Yeah. Even Atlanta's in there this year.
Yeah. Very cool. Yes. Sad to see about Bobby Whitlock. We were just talking about a little before we jumped on. He's played with everyone.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking of Derek and the Dominoes, George Harrison, Delaney and Bonnie, Dr. John, the Rolling Stones. It's just like there's so many connections between Bobby and Layla and Tedeschi Trucks and Bell Bottom Blues and Tedeschi Trucks, and there just seems to be so many connections. And he was just such a great writer and such a great keyboard player. It's sad to see him go.
Yeah, those are the roots of TTB that you're describing in a lot of ways, and for him to be a part of the roots of TTB is a special thing, But yeah, just sad to see. And it's such amazing credits, and it's any connection to Layla is extra special. And I'm sure TTB is going to do some sort of tribute or mention him. They could add him to get on they have to this so sweet song. I thought of this when I was going to talk on last episode with Mariah and Christopher. Like I was going to be like, can I share a dark thought? I was like, so sweet songs are going to get more and more emotional as on, because it's the circle of life, or whatever. They're going to add more faces to it. They could add more faces to it because that's just the. Life is where that's the great equalizer is death, I guess, or whatever. But it's good that they're doing Soul Sweet Song in that way with the videos. We could get into all of that, but where should we start here? The first night in Bend, I suppose. I can pull up the set list. How was it? What was the Mariah and Christopher, you guys have been on a somewhat of an odyssey. You've been on a tour, so explain to me what was the catch me up on the arriving in Bend.
Well, Bend is a really nice town or city. It's very pleasant. And so we arrived, we got into our little hotel room, and then we met up with a friend that we actually met in Seattle, and then saw him again in Missoula, and then he was in Bend. So that was all fun. The atmosphere was set to be a good time. And then, of course, the next day we caught a little bit of a sound check because the way the amphitheater is, if you're in like the riverfront area, man, it just projects right across and you can just sit over there and hear clear everything that's going on. So we got a little sound check. And then we went into the show, and I'd say the first day they were a little subdued compared to, definitely compared to Missoula or the last night in Red Rocks where they were on fire. It was daytime. They started in the daytime.
Yeah,
it was a whole daylight show.
So they started at 6:30. They played from 6:30 to 8, and then half-hour changeover, and then Whiskey Myers played 8:30 to 10. So yeah, it was daylight. It was kind of hot. It felt early. It felt really early. It had like a festival feel for sure.
How hot was it?
Not too bad. I mean, in the sunlight, it was kind of hot, but it was still like maybe low 80s. So, I say that's maybe kind of hot, but really compared to like everything south of there, it was quite pleasant.
Yeah. And it's cool. The river's right there. So like lots of people float and just hang out on their rafts or, paddle boards or whatever, and just listen to the whole show. So when you're leaving, there's still people just hanging out in the river, listening to the show. Yeah. So yeah, people just hang out right there.
You got to get a ticket or a river ticket. Is that considered general admission?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Is it? No, I guess I'm half joking.
No, you could just go there.
It's I don't know how big the venue is. It's bigger than Missoula for sure. It holds a lot of people on the grass area, which is bigger than you think. One thing I immediately noticed, it's flatter and the sound is really good. There's no weird acoustics. I thought the sound was excellent. And in this picture that you have up, you can see where the big mains are like hanging, I don't know, not that high. For this show, they had them way up, all the way up.
These right here?
So it really projects out, yeah. And man, I thought the sound quality was really good. Like sometimes, like both Red Rocks and Missoula, you can get kind of weird spots. And I didn't find any spot in that whole place that was weird at all. It sounded good pretty much everywhere.
Outdoors, I guess it's its own challenge in a sense because sound can just like escape, and maybe that's part of it. Is that when you have these, what did you call them? The big speakers that were hanging? Is that what you were referring to?
The mains.
Yeah, if those are a little higher up and almost like pointed downward in a sense, that could keep the sound sort of confined to the audience essentially, and as opposed to escaping out into the great wide open or whatever.
And
picture
it also kind of let us really tilt the microphones a little more upward, which cuts out some of the crowd noise. And then we got kind of lucky and we're able to really put the mics up high. Some places you just can't do it, but we found a little corner, a little niche to stay in and out of the way, not in anybody's view shed. So
yeah, where were you? I was gonna ask, where were you guys? Where were your seats, tickets? Was it pit, and then you setting up somewhere, Christopher and Mariah in the pit? Is that this setup?
Yeah, we got seats just right next to the front of the soundboard. So just knowing that there would hopefully be a little corner where we could put our stand where we're not blocking anyone's view, and it worked out.
I see. That's kind of like your spot now in general, is to get close to the in front of the soundboard. Is that the thought?
Right next to it.
Behind it, next to it.
If you set up in front, they'll probably tell you to move. Yeah. The sound people want to, and because there's not just sound in there, there's the light engineers too. So they need to have a really clear vision of the stage. I got like during Whiskey Myers at one point, I was like captivated watching the guy run the lights. I'd never really seen that before, and it is like it's an active job.
Oh yeah, they're lighting director is probably the title, I would guess, because he's directing that whole choosing and making all those decisions on the fly. You went to the first show or the second show? You said, Kirka.
I went to the second.
So that's oh, we can cover that too. That we will. We can get into the set list from the seventh.
It was interesting. Like I said, they went. TTB went first, and as
that's weird.
It did feel a little weird, and as like everyone's been talking about online, and on the app
Group
and everything.
Boards, yeah.
Everyone is like, "Oh my God, why is TTB opening?" And I finally was like, "I just have to stop talking about it's a co-bill." They're both
right.
have sets, but it does have that feeling though. So I get anyone that goes first. People are going to say they're opening, and it kind of, it was the first show with Whiskey Myers, so I feel like my thought was it was. They kind of like sat back a little bit. And again, this is coming off of 3 big shows in a row. So both Red Rocks were pretty huge. And then Kettle House in Montana was huge. So they had to bring it down at some point. Like they couldn't just keep going. But yeah, I felt like they were kind of maybe sitting back a little bit, and maybe that's not true at all.
I wouldn't tell from the set list at all that that's the case. But you guys I think you're just so sensitive to, because you've been with the band on this little run, so just a little bit of a feeling like it's could be a vibe thing. Even we talked about being on camera and being a streaming show. It's like it takes mental energy, and it's a different kind of being on, probably when you're being filmed and
12 was it 12 songs? 1, 2, 3.
13 for on
12. Oh yeah, and then letter 13. They. It was like clipping right along. So I think that was part of it, was to try and get a bunch of songs in. After Let Me Get By, Derek did, talk to Susan, and then they played the letter. So I feel like they wanted to get a bunch of songs in. It's a short set for them. So I think
rigidly timed. Well, because they're the first band, so it was rigidly timed, I guess. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And
I also don't think go on.
The first one. Oh, just the first one with Whiskey Myers. So like maybe they were all kind of feeling it all out, which
probably
makes sense, right?
I guess I was gonna say, I guess fans didn't. I feel like we didn't realize that it was a co-headlining bill, and it's almost like surprising when you find out TTB is not the headliner. The only time like TTB like maybe wasn't the headliner or something, like there's been a few examples, but when didn't they play with the Eagles? Wasn't that it? Did I make that up in Atlanta? And they do a show.
That was an opener for sure. Like that.
Right. There was an arena show, or like an arena show with a band like that, and I think maybe Dead and Company, but that might have been just a festival booking thing. But I guess that's still whoever plays kind of last and at night in prime time or whatever is considered the headliner. But short of those examples, I can't really think of anything. So it's surprising. It just kind of seemed to sneak up on a lot of the fans where we didn't even realize. And there was confusion amongst the hardcore fans about what the setup was.
Yeah,
confusion.
We were super excited. Well, I was super excited about the Stand Back, though, because we hadn't heard any Allman Brothers. And so that was a big, discussion point of, they're just, laying low on Allman Brothers and playing all their new stuff and focusing on TTB songs. And so we were pretty excited to hear that.
Yeah, I kind of felt like the Stand Back was to try and appeal to maybe some Whiskey Myers people, because they might like a lot of Allman Brothers too. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they have Southern rock influences, and they're more or less Southern rock country, and I mean and hard rock. It sounds like on paper, it seems like it might be a good match, but from at least partially the reaction from the TTB fans, it may not have been the best match for whatever reason.
Well, it's very hard to go from a really killer 12-piece band to a 6-piece band that is more, they play more like radio. They don't expand on what they're playing. They don't jam.
Right.
So it's a very, very different feel. And I think it is kind of like, it's a little hard to go from that to the other thing. And there's also the anytime, even if it's a co-bill, no matter what, the first band is always viewed as the opener. You know, it's just how it is. You just co-bill or not, that's the feel that it has. And so, and you know, it was a little weird, and a lot of people
We're going to say animosity.
No. A lot of people left. I think when people got back to their place and started typing, that's when the animosity came out.
Of course,
but,
we're all keyboard warriors.
Yeah, animosity with anonymity is classic.
So a lot of people left the first night from after.
It was kind of startling how many people left.
It was tough, I will say. We, you know, I wanted to hear him. I'd never heard him before. The volume was, you got your decibel reading out. It was really loud. And I felt like there weren't a lot of dynamics, and it was just hard to listen to. Like, to be honest, I felt like it was really loud. There were just some some lyrics and that I wasn't loving. And we went 3 songs, and I was like, well, we're going to see him tomorrow. Let's go back early and get our recording up and whatever. So that's what we chose to do. And as we were leaving, there was a lot of people leaving.
Yeah, there was like a little bit of a traffic jam at the gate leaving. It was kind of crazy. It was like, usually I expect, getting into the show to have to wait a minute, but yeah.
If you would have snapped a picture of that and sent it to me, I would have shared it.
Yeah.
For whatever that's worth, because for the humor, yeah, it's interesting, and I think it's a good observation, and that what you mentioned, Mariah, about dynamics, because that's definitely something that draws us into TTB specifically. Yeah. So if we're something that we love about TTB, that is almost like an essential aspect of it, and I mention it all the time: the dynamics within a song, the dynamics within an album, the dynamics within an entire show, that journey, the peaks and valleys, and the pin drops to the revving it up with the guitar solos and 2 drummers wailing away. Like, that's something we appreciate a lot. So when you don't have that sort of those dynamics that were maybe spoiled by, things could come across as like one note, and that could be maybe not, like, no pun intended, but like it can be almost like grating in a way, because TTB has played with all kinds of artists and musicians and had openers from kind of all over the map, but there's always been like some overlap, and some people gravitate towards opening acts more than other. This is my favorite, this one wasn't my favorite, but it's never been like this sort of I think it's the again, we weren't in store for TTB to be the first act for some of these shows. We weren't mentally prepared, but Whiskey Myers has a big following. I mean, credit to them. Obviously, they're able to, I guess the bands and the representatives, we'll see, because they got a lot more to come together. Yeah. But they're trying to expand each other's fan bases, I think, is the thought. We've kind of already discussed that, and people discussing that.
Yeah.
Whiskey Myers has been around for 20 years. They started in 2005. I'm like, yeah. Well, because we were sitting there, listening the second night to Whiskey Myers first, and like, so who are they? What have they done? Where are they from?
Doing your research.
My niece and nephew thought that it was going to be the Outlaws kind of sound, the old Outlaws song. It's like, so it was, we were, my sister-in-law was just Googling, and we were learning about Whiskey Myers, and yeah, they got their own following, I mean, there was a dude in front of me that he stood up and sung every word of every song of theirs.
Yeah, we saw
from his torso all the way up to every single song. It was, they had a lot of love, man. It's like, it's weird that they've been in a parallel universe, and maybe it's not our universe, but
Yeah, it's all different circles of communities. What are you going to say, Christopher?
So going back to the people that you saw singing, and it was like two older guys and a younger guy that was maybe one of them's son or something.
Yeah.
And I saw after Whiskey Myers was done and TTB started, and they kicked it off a lot heavier. And, they kicked it off with Gilded Splinters.
Right.
And immediately the kid stood up and was like all into it. I think he was having he was discovering Derek trucks for the first time.
Sure.
And he was grabbing what I think is his dad and trying to get him to stand up.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't do it, but he was trying to get him to stand up. And then I started looking around and nobody left. Everybody stayed for TTB. All the Whiskey Myers people. There's a lot of people there.
Packed.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of yelling and screaming between songs, and it wasn't just TTB people.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like maybe TTB could expand their fan base with this.
Yep.
I don't know if Whiskey Myers expanded theirs.
No, I appreciate that, and I do ask that question a lot, like in terms of who are the regulars, who are the newbies, and in this case, like there was obviously a lot of newbies to TTB, and very smart move to start off with a rocker, so to speak, like Gilded Splinters with that crowd. That's being in tune with your environment.
Yeah, that was a good set list.
Yeah, I agree. I think
for that crowd, for the whole thing.
Yeah, I think that set list was, I have to find it, was very, you have it, deliberate.
Maybe that's something we'll see more of. TTB will be a little bit like heavier, and I think that may be a thing because they started I think Future Soul, we'll get into it, but Future Soul was last night in the Gorge, I think, to start the show. Again, like a heavier, like rocker type tune. Yeah. I think this might be a more rock, heavier infused song. I'm sure, and then they'll add within that set the It's So Heavies and the Midnight in Harlem's and some of those songs. Once you kind of pull them in, and then you show your range. You pull them in, you meet them where they live. And then you show your range is kind of maybe where the band's mindset could be at. That makes sense.
I agree. I think that's what happened. I think playing Down in the Flood with the Silvertone. Yeah.
Right.
That felt deliberate. Gilded felt deliberate. Tangled Up in Blue, I Want More, Santana, Angel Sugar. It was. And then, and everyone, of course, this happens all the time, but everyone was highlighted. And then, of course, Mark and Alecia at the end, it just killed, it's just like, on I Wish I Knew is just, I can't, they have to have gained a lot of followers. I would think.
There was a lot of younger women that were Whiskey Myers fans. And I feel like maybe, TTB might have appealed to them a lot because there's a woman fronting the band and another woman that's just belting it out and another woman that's on the horn killing it. So versus Whiskey Myers, which is more of their boyfriend's band probably than theirs.
I follow. That makes sense.
You're speaking, but I agree. I would agree.
No, again, I think TTB it's this band where they can meet anybody where they live, regardless of their gender, regardless of what their kind of favorite music. It's got to be in the universe, obviously. But if you come from a jam band circle, you come from a country, southern rock kind of is your favorite stuff. You love female vocalists and powerhouse female vocalists. You're gonna love this band. And I forget, the drummers can bring in some of the hard rock metal people also. Like I think metal dudes appreciate, especially what TTB's drummers do. I'm sure.
Yeah. Interestingly, Whiskey Myers has two drummers at times.
I was going to say the same thing.
At times.
Yeah. Well, one of them plays the keys sometimes. But yeah, they did a lot of dual drumming.
Nice.
Not the same.
Yeah.
Not the same.
Not the same.
Not the same.
Why? But what is it? Is it still cool to see? Is it more of with their dual drummers? More of like, does it make things more powerful? Do they have a conversation too sometimes in the same way, and fill in different parts?
There's no real conversations in what they do. Like theirs is more. Like their show is a little more choreographed on where they stand, how they do the things they do. Like they played the identical show 2 days in a row. Same set list, same movements on stage, same everything. So it's not really they're playing their songs as you would hear them on the album or the radio.
I wonder if they'll be inspired by TTB at all, or what the lessons or what things they can learn from TTB, or what can TTB learn from Whiskey Myers. Maybe it's obviously maybe things more on the commercial end that TTB can make their own and benefit from, and also like just the journey of like being sensitive to the dynamics of the crowd and going heavier based on the touring with Whiskey Myers. That's where I'm sure they're learning in terms of creating the set list, but I'm sure there's things like each band can learn from each other. But yeah, I could see how TTB's a band that is not choreographed at all in that way. Everything is very organic and authentic, and is all about dynamics. Where this band is obviously a little bit more commercial and a little bit more choreographed and packaged in a way, so to speak. Maybe by their choice, but this is a cool set list.
Yeah, it was. And then I was gonna say, that's the first night.
Right.
Yeah,
that's the first night. Yeah, I was gonna say, our friend who was like first, second row. He said the second night after we chatted, he said Whiskey Myers was they were all like filming a whole bunch of
backstage
TTV set, on their phones,
from the side of the show, from the side stage or something.
Yeah.
After they got down and TTB went up, they sat back behind on the side of the stage, and
clearly they're fans. They were like, holy cow, look at what he's doing.
Derek and Susan especially catch everyone's attentions, and even just musicians and professional musicians, so they all become fans and in awe, not just fans but in awe of TTB and what Derek and Susan can do in the band, of course. Devil Be Gone, such a cool one.
Yeah, it was great. After that set, I said to Christopher, well, we're 3 of 3 for Devil Be Gone in terms of the stats, 100%.
Yeah.
Great song. And that I Can't Make You, I just, you've seen it a bunch, and I got kind of emotional. It's just incredible. It
grabbed, all their songs grab you. They, even if if you're not thinking of it, it may not be one you're, on your top that I want to hear this second or at this moment in time. But when you're there and Susan starts singing and like every time she sings it, she makes you feel like she feels it's the most important and most emotional version of the song. Like they just exist in the moment. Like there's no mailing it in, obviously, with this band.
Yep.
Solid stuff. I still have to dive into these recordings. I'm still listening to your Red Rocks recordings. I'm still stuck on it. No, but yeah, this is such stellar set list. Every Let Me Get By is such a triumphant journey. Like the vibe I get from that song. Good stuff. Should we move on to night 2? We could jump around. This is casual. I'll keep pulling up wherever the discussion goes. I guess I can read the set list. I didn't read it for the first one, but Guild of Splinters, Do I Look Worried, Part of Me, It's So Heavy, Down in the Flood, Tangled Up in Blue, I Want More, It's Soul Sacrifice, Angel, Into Sugary, How Blue Can You Get, Midnight in Harlem, I Wish I Knew How It Would Feel to Be Free, to close it out. And this night it was, and Tony Coleman jumped in on Falcon's kit for Splinters, it looks like.
No, it was How Blue Can You Get?
How blue can you get?
Yeah.
Right.
It's cool.
That's
I guess Tony lives in the area because he sat in on one of the 2 shows in Portland last year.
Yeah, I remember.
Since then, and
that's
since
what we
then,
were
it's like
saying
I've noticed he sits in on a lot of people that are coming through the Portland area. But it's like it was amazing how down and dirty blues it got for how blue can you get. I mean, the whole thing was good. But if you love the blues, man, that was the particular song of that night, and especially with Tony up there, they just changed cadences. I mean, it was just a different song. Did y'all get that feeling, or is that just me on mushrooms?
No. Yeah. You had a grasp of reality.
No, it's fun for the band when they bring in a guest. It adds a new flavor. It keeps things fresh. I think for the band. In some ways, I think guests are for the band as much as they are for us, the fans.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I got lucky get backstage after the second show, and when Tony finally came, they had this area between the buses, and they had these nice little tents out there, and they put down AstroTurf and have some nice wicker patio furniture out there. And it's like, everybody's just kind of like every backstage, everybody's just, sitting there talking, and they go over to somebody else and talk. Well, when Tony ended up coming in, Susan and Derek stopped talking. And Tony walked up to him, and all of a sudden, man, there was just laser focused talking with Tony, man. It was, on one hand, I wanted to kind of sidle up to him and listen. And on the other hand, no, man, you can tell they're having their moment, and like when you're backstage, you don't want to take somebody else's moment, right? It's like you see somebody else talking to Derek and you don't want to go and interrupt it. You wait until they're done, hope there's enough time, and then you scoot in and say something. But they were both just, the smiles were genuine. It was just so good. And then just see that song change so much. And then, I don't know, the whole show was really good for as short as it was.
Yeah.
But just watching them was really fun.
Yeah, they only have so much time with Tony themselves as they're traveling. I'm sure he's doing his things. It's like, they don't get that much time probably to talk and just hang out, even, other than preparing to play and at least give them a moment to celebrate, a job well
played
done.
With BB King for so long, it's just, what did you hear? What did you hear during those? It's just, that had to be magic to be with BB for so long.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is stellar set list. They didn't play midnight the first night. Obviously, you don't get back-to-back midnight in the same city. So I'm sure that got a good reaction. Them playing their signature song, even though maybe it's more of a ballad. The Whiskey Myers people react to Midnight in Harlem?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I mean,
and because Kebbi's going nuts before on that, and so there's a lot of,
I told him it's so great to see him levitating, and he just looks at me. And I'm like, you get going, and you get going, and you get going, and then you're levitating. And he goes, "Oh yeah,
I'll have what he's having." I could. It's funny because you say that. I can almost picture him doing his. He has almost like maybe it's a sax thing. It's like a Lisa Simpson intro kind of thing where they just kind of go into their own jazz universe, really. I think, and there's nothing else but them and their saxophone, and that's where, Kebbi probably stretched the minds, so to speak, of not just you, Kirk, but also I think some of the newbies and some of the Whiskey Myers people. They were probably not prepared for that. I think Kebbi is someone who I think challenges the ears and musical sensibilities in a good way of even TTB fans. I think I think that's fair. He brings the jazz element, and I'm here for it, for certainly. Like I love that aspect, and you get that's what Kebbi brings to the band as part of the everything that you get with TTB. It's just one other element, unique element that he brings is cool. That jazz psychedelic, whatever you want to, however you want to describe it, avant-garde at times, style.
So do y'all I know y'all talked a little bit about the new horn player sitting in. I guess he's been there 20 shows now. What did y'all think, Christopher Mariah? What did y'all think seeing him over those several nights? Was it the same guy, or was it different? Was he different in each place?
No, he's the same.
Emmanuel.
Yeah, Emmanuel.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it that he ripped it up on? Which song was that?
He did it on Shame. He had his
Keep on Growing.
Keep on Growing. And
Keep on Growing over the
Missoula is what I was thinking.
No. There's in one of the ones in Bend. I
want to say it was I Want More, but I'm not.
I can't remember which song it was. And
I Wish I Knew. I think
is that the one?
They started because Ephraim would do his solo a lot of the times to begin trumpet. I don't know if that.
Yes, he started. Yep.
Yeah, and then Derek kind of cut him off in the.
Because there's an abrupt when you listen to it. There's a little bit of an abrupt. Like I don't know if he was just like going, and then Derek was like, "This is
the second night." He did it on the second night.
Right.
Maybe in time. I mean, Hayden Holmes said that they're 10 o'clock. You didn't have to end at 10. You had to be off at 10. So I think they ended it like at 9:55 or so. So maybe it was a time thing.
No, at the beginning. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was getting into it and not getting out of it.
The intro of I Wish I Knew. I think that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to look for the point. I guess the point. Well, sometimes the band will they just come in, but no, I'm sure he tore it up.
Yeah.
Oh, it was really good. It was very, very like late '60s, early '70s Miles Davis stuff going on. It was good. I was into it.
Yeah, he was walking around backstage holding on to his horn. Like it was a little baby. I didn't talk to him, but it was like, huh.
This is not like 2 minutes after or was it? This was like 30,
no, it was 20 minutes. 25
okay. Yeah, still got it in his hand.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I
don't know if I've seen any other members of the band just like walking around with their instruments hanging out after the show.
Well, I think that's what caught my eye, It's like you see somebody walking off the side, off the side, and like, he's got his horn in his arms. I mean, not just in his hand, walking. He had it in his arms.
Are you sure that happened, Kirk?
Oh yeah, because the good, the reality, what's reality and what's not, we may not totally know. Yeah, it sounds like an amazing journey.
That's awesome.
Maybe I wasn't even backstage.
Maybe
no, I believe you. I believe that. You're not making it up.
I ended up having a friend who was there when Derek was starting, and he used to kind of fund some of the early Derek shows, and just as a real cool guy. It's like I wrote for Hitting the Note for a little while, the Allman Brothers magazine that turned into a regular music magazine. We all called him Mr. Joe because he was kind of the guy that made all that happen. So it was great to see him. His wife just passed away recently too, and it was good to see him out. I guess he started in Red Rocks, and then went to Montana, came down to Bend, and went up to the Gorge, because everybody out east has heard about the Gorge, and they say it's like Red Rocks. I don't know. Maria, Christopher, have you all been to the Gorge?
Yeah.
Is it like Red Rocks?
I have not.
Well, I mean, so a friend said to us, "Why aren't you not going to the Gorge?" And I was like, "No, we're gonna skip. We're just gonna go home after Bend." And he's like, "Are you gonna regret that?" And I was like, "Probably, but okay, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine." And then when I woke up this morning and looked at the set list, I was like, "Damn it, he was right. Why didn't we go to the Gorge?" I would choose Red Rocks over the Gorge if I had to pick one, which is so silly that we compare them because they're so different. But I get like what people are saying. It is so hot, and
right here.
It's gorgeous, but it's different. It's different. I would go to Red Rocks over the Gorge if I had to choose.
You did.
I did. But do I regret skipping the gorge? Yes, I do.
Yeah, that was a great set list too. If we want to just take a quick look at it here.
Yeah,
Future Soul, Ain't That Something? Who Am I? Franklin's Tower, jumping back into the set list. And Till You Remember, Leaving Trunk, Volunteered Slavery. Have they played that recently on this?
No,
not since they jumped back on tour. Lottie Da, I don't know if they haven't played that since they just got back on tour. Can't Make You Love Me, Yes Who Will, Idle Wind, Get What You Deserve, Bound for Glory, and an encore of The Letter and With a Little Help. So last night they, supported by Means Whiskey Myers, opened, of course, for this one.
Yep.
It's nice that they were able to do a encore, because there was no encores at Bend.
Yeah.
Part of that was just curfew and time, like we've been saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they seemed like when they were done, they were done. She barely had time to even say like thank you to the band and thank you to Whiskey Myers and all that. They were getting out.
Yeah.
We're gonna get
at a brewer. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we're gonna get a lot of this, I think, on this tour. We were kind of already talking about that with the album release and whatnot, with a little help with the Learning to Live Together and all the Mad Dog stuff
there with the the Red Rocks set, that second night of Red Rocks with the Franklin's Tower, Letter, Little Help.
Wow.
Yeah, solid set for sure.
I do wish I could have seen Have a Little Help, with a little help from my friends, because not have. I don't know why I said have. That would have been good to see for a second time. I love that song. I've always loved that. Back when it was when Mad Dogs and Englishmen.
I think I'm probably going to get that in LA. That's this week. What is that? Wednesday, Thursday? I think that's happening because they have such LA roots. I think as well, yeah. Mad Dogs and all of that, and I think that they rehearse here and practice. And Leon lived as an LA guy and whatnot. Yeah. So
I bet they will. And God, when they do it, and the singing is unbelievable. And Alecia, you can hear us in there. Yeah. I mean, you can pick out all of them. It's just, they tear that song up. They do. Well,
this was the unless any members of Whiskey Myers just join for with a little help, this would be the first version of that with just 12 of 12, because Red Rocks had guests on.
Yeah.
Grace and
right.
Whatever.
Summer? Is it Summer Joy?
Right.
Her name?
Summer Joy, I think her name is.
I mean, that all sounded great too, but there is something special, just all 12, just 12, no guests, TTB, Tedeschi Trucks Band, and in their full form doing their thing. Grace Bowers. Mm-hmm.
I got a couple little notes from our friend that went to the Gorge. He said, same mix of Whiskey Myers and TTB fans. During the banter, Susan said the venue was a bucket list for her and the band, of course. Dedicated La Di Da to her daughter, saying it was her 21st birthday. And that is the songs about children growing up and leaving home. Franklin's Tower was a treat. Several DTB songs with Mike. Alicia's vocal solo on Bound for Glory was awesome, and a 2-song encore! !
Those are your notes?
This is our friend that went, so he was psyched. Yep, just a little, a little insight that it was her daughter's birthday, and bucket list venue, of course. So pretty cool.
Yeah, no doubt. La Di Da was she wrote it about her son going off to college initially, Susan. Yeah. So it's cool that these songs take on, sort of new meanings at different times in our lives. They're all kind of like timeless in a way. Like we've just all the new songs already feel like I've been listening to them for years in a way. And that's what I would say about the I'm the Moon stuff. Something about their music is just so timeless, and it's and it can transcend. I mean, they've been around since it's been 15, 16 years, and the Revelator stuff, especially live, pops as much as it did, day one. Obviously, Midnight in Harlem, their signature song is essential for pretty much every city they go to all these years later. I don't know. I think maybe it's just because they're just musicians, and they don't fall victim to anything that's too centric to maybe like an era, whether it's like synthesizers from the 80s or beats from the 90s or other sort of digital aspects, whatever it is. They just have such a pure, authentic sound that transcends, I think, all eras. I mean, I guess they just sound like they're from the 60s or 70s, but they're, I like new bands and new artists, it's because they sound like they could be from the 60s or 70s, whether it's Black Crowes or Marcus King or whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
cool.
I see that.
So kind of going back to Tangled Up in Blue, the second night in Bend, I think there was 3 singers. Did I see that right? It started off with Gabe, and then went to Mike.
Yep.
And then went to Susan.
Yeah, that's how they've been doing it.
Man, that was I guess I really hadn't noticed that, and maybe I was focusing. But it was cool because I went to last year. I went with my niece and nephew also to some of the shows, and they were there last night. And my niece talked about, last year Susan was stepping up really strong. I mean, she's already a great player and singer all by herself. But it seemed like last year, it was a little more toe-to-toe here and there. It wasn't about competing. It was about, I'm just going to do good. She actually shed some tears that night because during I Want More. Because just watching how much stronger she thought Susan was this year compared to last year. And it's interesting to see that they are not just phoning it in. I think, Adam, you've talked about that on a bunch of the podcasts. They just don't phone it in.
There's always new sounds I hear coming from not just Derek's guitar, but Susan's guitar too. Some new phrasing that I've never heard. And I could be, I'm not going to say I'm that sensitive to every note and every melody and every phrasing they choose, but there's always something when I'm listening where you do the moment, I guess, when you look at your speaker or you look at where the music's coming from. It's like, what was that?
Yeah.
Who did that? And you almost maybe want to go back to hear what the hell you just heard. But there's always those moments, and those moments really come from everyone in the band at different points. And that's like what's so amazing about this band is that you almost sometimes never know when you're going to have those goosebumpy moments and what's going to cause them, but that they're coming. They deliver every time. I think I talked about that, the adrenaline I get and we get going to Tedeschi Trucks band concert is like kind of similar to the feeling I get when going to like a sporting event, a big sporting event, like especially a playoff game. But I forget who said it, that TTB always delivers and never disappoints you. So in a way, this is TTB's better than even going to a sporting event in that regard, because you're going to leave happy, satisfied, having a cathartic experience.
Yeah,
they do yeah, go on.
There were a lot of people. We ended up going to a place called Crux Brewery before to do our pregame. I was wearing the Kofi shirt, so 2 or 3 people were there, and they had went the night before, and just talking about how they thought the first night was a little bit subdued, and they were hoping for a little more the second night. But they all kind of just we're talking about the same things. It's like Mariah and Christopher, y'all said the same thing. You go to shows, and you see people you haven't seen in a year or two, but you see them. It's like family. You see people you don't even know, and you happen to have a T-shirt on or a hat or something, and it's such an easy conversation to strike up, and it's such a cool thing.
I think we're like, are we high level music fans? Like I exist. I mean, I have a good broad knowledge, I think, of music, especially like music that's related to TTB and such, and even beyond. But I think there's something about appreciating this 12-piece band that brings so much to the table and covers so many genres and subgenres of music, but all centered around, sort of the Layla World and the Allman Brothers and the Mad Dogs and the Delaney and Bonnies, just to name like those top 4. But you're getting so much more than that. So I don't know. It makes us like, you're not getting an insular music fan, but you're also getting sort of maybe, I don't know, we appreciate it in a different way than most music fans. It's got to be something to that.
Now you're right, because I was talking to Alan Woody,
we
the former
appreciate
bass
dynamics
player for the Mule, and he was saying the same thing, because there's some people who want to go and hear a band play it exactly like it is on the album, because that's what they're familiar with. And then there's fans of like TTB or the Allmans who want to hear the other portions of it. It's like Warren talked about it, like a song has a structure like a house, and you play that structure every time just like you build a house, but there's a window. And that's when a musician will go out the window, do their solo, and end up coming back in. And he said, all fans don't like that. They're like, that's just endless noodling to them. They want to hear it just like on the album. So you're 100% right.
I feel like you get the best of both worlds with TTB, because they're not noodling. They're taking me on an adventure, on a journey that has a narrative and that has a purpose and a point, and there's a reason notes get played at a certain point. Even if they're improvised, there's still purpose to the choices that are being made. Whereas I could see that with some other bands, which is why I gravitate more to TTB than maybe some other so-called jam bands, is maybe because they can be a little bit more exploratory or more even cosmic with their jams, versus TTB and maybe more the Allman Brothers. It just seems more, it's like where I'm like right there the whole time. It's like, what's gonna happen next, even when they're jamming and improvising and all that. It's a different experience. And TTB definitely falls into the jam band scope, so to speak, but it's so much more than that. And I call them more a band that jams, but
yeah,
teach their own.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate that Kirk is right. People hear it as noodling, though. It's crazy. It's like, I listen to Derek Trucks, and there's not a single noodle. He's bringing it from point A to point B to C to D and back around. But some people hear it and they just are like, why does he have to play all those notes? And then like those same people, like I'm really into a lot of the CTI label jazz music. Yeah. Freddie Hubbard has a lot of stuff on CTI. And there's some like, jazz is the original jam band, right? Yeah. Kind of. And I played what I thought was like one of the greatest songs in the world. It's like 20 minutes long. It was at work. And when it was done, it was like, they're just looking at me like I was an idiot for liking that stuff. Like, and I feel like some of the same mentality is put onto any band that has extended soloing or anything like that. It's viewed as noodling and like just what is it called? Like grandstanding, I guess. And it's like, just shut up and listen to it over and over until you get it. All right. And then come back and talk to me.
Yeah. It's hard. They have to be I think some people have to be eased into that. I think also some people gravitate towards singers and lyrics and more structures, verse, chorus, singer, song, that they're into just the main melody and a hook. And I think the vocal and the melody of the vocal, I think that gets the primary focus of attention from like casuals versus people who appreciate. I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's weird. People are. Yeah.
Well, it's just different, right? I mean, it's just. My wife, when she was alive, she was focused on lyrics. Didn't hear anything. For me, I hear the vocals like a melody. I don't actually hear. Well, I'm listening to words more now, but I generally don't listen to the words. I just hear a melody in the singing. So that's the odd thing. The other side of that is listening to Susan more. I'm starting to listen to words a little bit more. So it's like, I think it's just people different, It's like, you like pickles. I don't like pickles.
Art is subjective.
Unfortunately, their music sucks. Our music is good. But besides that, yeah, it's just subjective.
Basically, if a band can be recreated by AI, I probably won't like the kind of music they have. If AI cannot recreate what they're doing, it's probably something I'm going to like, and I think it's likely what most TTB fans would like as well.
Yeah.
Because I don't think AI could recreate TTB, at least not right now.
They can never do it. This is my personal opinion, because part of what makes TTB is the human element, the imperfection. I heard that like certain people, maybe younger people who are more into electronic music, they're so used to like exactly everything being like so perfectly on time in a way that like, it's digital, it's a computer, that when they hear TTB or organic musicians, it's not as perfect in that same produced way that a computer does. So I don't know. We'll see how it's interesting how people react to different things.
So quick question for y'all. I got into this kind of music because of my older brothers. Some people it's dads or some their moms or something. Adam, who got you into this kind of music?
Well, I guess my parents grew up on the Beatles and classic rock, and my dad played guitar, so it was kind of always in the background. And then I started playing guitar in college, and then like a little bit later, I started to like mess around with slide guitar. And then he's like, "Oh, you should check out this guy Derek Trucks." And I heard the name, and I knew the Allman Brothers. I knew their hits at that point, but for whatever reason, I like blues and classic rock. I never went down like a hardcore Allman Brothers sort of path or at that point in my life. But that's when I started to basically discover Derek and Susan and Tedeschi. This was like 2010, basically, like right around when they formed was when I kind of discovered Derek and Susan, and then did a deeper dive into the Allman Brothers, of course. And I guess the rest is history. But I'd heard the name Derek Trucks. I knew, like, I remember hearing, Jessica was used in the Field of Dreams soundtrack. So that's sort of like, I guess, like an early Allman Brothers memory, even off the top of my head. Yeah. But TTB around 2010, like I kind of discovered them right around when they formed. Just happened to be right place, right time in that regard as a music fan.
How about you, Mariah? When did you first, or who got you into this kind of music?
Kind of similar. My parents, I remember being in middle school and deciding I was only listening to my parents' albums, which were the Stones, the Who, Dylan, Beatles, all of the usual suspects. And it always made sense to me. So I just, always listened to it. Saw Grateful Dead's last shows in Soldier Field. It was kind of all over at that point.
How about you, Christopher? How'd you get started?
I would say I started to play the guitar when I was 12, and I started getting into Jimi Hendrix when I was 12. Wow. And Hendrix led me into everything else, I would say. That's probably where I got the ability to listen to long guitar solos and love them. And then as I got older, I started really getting into a lot of jazz stuff, started playing jazz and listening to a lot of jazz musicians. And then I really started to listen to saxophone a lot, because saxophone and guitar share a lot of similarities. Like you can play the same lines on both. And so I was trying to listen to a lot of saxophone to get ideas for the guitar. And then that just led to other things. And then I was playing in this band. This is like 30 years ago. And we had an organ player, and he was super into Allman Brothers. And so that led me more into liking the Allman Brothers, which then, of course, you see the pathway from there to here. But I think even if I'd never listened to Allman Brothers, I would still find this band because of all the instrumentation and how the deep dive that they go. Then that's what I love. I don't want to see live music that doesn't do that. I have no interest in bands that don't really dive in, whether it's, whatever instrument or maybe like with drums and percussion or lyrically. I used to have a hard time listening to Bob Dylan sing, actually physically sing. It used to bother me. Yeah. But his lyrics I can listen to them over and over and they blow my mind every time. Yeah. There's certain lines that I'll think about over and over and over. And it's like, how did he make that go together so perfectly? And it's so simple. Like, why can't I? And that's always like what it comes back to. But so, yeah, it's inevitable that if a person likes jammy music, they're going to love TTB, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I always like to ask that question.
No, I think I probably have asked everyone that initially when they first appeared, but it's good to be refreshed because I don't remember everyone's exact entry point in TTB. Yeah. But what was your? Obviously, you said you wrote for Hitting the Note and were an Allman Brothers fan.
Yeah.
Yourself.
So my next oldest brother had given me Live at Fillmore, and then. I must have been 9 or 10 years old. Didn't really understand it. Came back around in my teens, and come to find out, that brother had gotten it from our oldest brother, who had kind of passed it down. But it was back in '94 when Kirk and Kirsten West moved down to Macon to buy the big house, and I think I was out of work at the time and nothing to do. I knew they ran the fan club and just sent some emails saying, welcome to Macon. If you ever need any help doing something, let me know. And one thing kind of led to another. But, I mean, the music, I think ever since I was in 8th grade kind of was there, and I just didn't understand it. So when I started to get in high school, all of a sudden, talking to friends who were musicians, it kind of all started fitting together. And then Government Mule came out, and it was always like bands like The Who and Zeppelin. It's like, I wish I'd have been there when they first started. I guess kind of like y'all got to do with TTB. It's like, and then finally you grab a hold of something, and you're there at the very beginning. You don't know if it's going to keep going, but you keep going because you want to keep going as long as it possibly can. And to me, it's like that's the coolest thing about what they blossom out to now. And we can say we were there listening to them, in the early days. It's like my oldest brother, the last time he saw TTB was with my niece and nephew's dad. So it's next oldest brother and oldest brother. They're both retired, traveling the country in RVs. And they met in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania to see TTB when they were doing the Fireside stuff. And there was only 6 people in the band. So, it's kind of cool to see now. What was that, 4 years ago? Yeah. 2 years ago. So now they're out on the West Coast, seeing them out here, and they were just blown away by seeing 12 people on stage. and right for us, it's like, I can't imagine 6 people on stage.
Yeah.
But that had to be a good show. But yeah, I mean, it's like, and then growing up in Atlanta, it's just all over the place. And, Derek being so young and playing so many things, like, I got to talk to him about when he was 16 years old. He played this really tiny club in Atlanta called the Chameleon Club. And online at that time was just mail lists. So you'd subscribe to this all text email. And anybody that sent something to that email address would get broadcast out to everybody. You used to call it Major Domo. And so it was during that time. So I'd heard that it was Derek's 16th birthday. And I don't know what possessed me, but it's like we had some brownie mix. And I got thinking, man, a brownie's almost the color of Derek's SG. So made a sheet pan, brownie, and cut out the little the little holes on the top of it, and then made thinking back, it was the crappiest neck. It was in like 5 different pieces.
A guitar cake is what you made?
Yeah. I was trying to draw the strings on it, and it's like, I might have been drunk at the time, but it's like trying to draw a string up this horrible neck. But it's like, so I got down there with it, right? And he's, pretty young. He's 16 years old, doing 3 sets that night. And so I chickened out bringing it in right away. And then I chickened out in the first, I don't know why, the first intermission, I was going to go get it. And I'm like, no. Third intermission, it's like, okay, it's like, it's either now I'm eating it on the way home. or I'm going to bring it in. So I went out and got it, put some candles on it, and he was into his first song. And I worked my way to the front. It's like, because you can, you bump somebody a little bit and they look back and they see candles on a cake. They're going to part for you a little bit, and he's sitting there just taking a solo and his eyes are closed. And I'm like, oh man, perfect. Dumb timing is perfect sometimes. And I went and sat it down there right at his feet. So when he opened up his eyes, he saw the birthday cake there. So right, that was when he was 16, right? So that was.
But wait, what was his reaction when he opened his eyes and there was a cake?
He
lit candles.
He missed a beat. He opened it. He was playing, and then he focused on it and saw what it was. You can imagine. I'm not expecting to see a cake when I'm coming out of an awesome solo.
I imagine not.
And it's like he literally stopped for about 3 beats. And then he went right back into the song and finished it.
Didn't stop to eat cake.
And he remembered it because I haven't seen him since then. Like I said, 3 years ago was my first TTB show. And with my wife getting sick, I was just away from music for 10, 15 years. So I hadn't seen him in a long, long time. And, when you're a fan and you go up and you meet somebody famous, you're like, you changed my life. Thank you. You just say something geeky, and it's like, since I hadn't seen him in so long, it's like I saw my oldest brother and his wife talking to him. They're from Jacksonville also. So they came with Jacksonville Jaguar swag.
Nice.
So, yeah. So when they got back there, that was one of the first things that Derek and Susan noticed. I got him talking to him. But it's like, so that was my one rehearsed thing to talk to him about. And he remembered it right off, man. And it's like, it's hard to believe it. It was really cool.
I believe that he remembers that. There's been a few examples of people talking to him on the show about, oh, remember that club and that thing? Oh, yeah, that was the club there where they had the weird stage with the set.
Wow.
Like, he remembers some of these details from some of these, from his earlier life. I mean, I feel like not that. I think that's maybe more a credit to him or his memory or his awareness or something like that. I don't think all musicians have that. How could you remember everything? You can't remember. There's so many shows, so many experiences. Like,
well, it's a blur after a while, right? You're 6 weeks out on the road, and after 7 days, and you're doing a little partying and not getting enough sleep, and you go up on stage. I mean, Christopher, I guess you gotta know being a player. You get up on stage, and it's just your energy level just seems to peak all by itself, and you go up that high and come down every night, man, it's literally a blur. So the only thing I remembered was either a friend that showed up at a show, right? Because you're used to seeing just fans at shows, right? So it's a friend or something really horrible that happened to somebody.
Yeah.
Usually not you, because you don't remember those things. But something happened to somebody. It's like, hey, you remember when you don't want to remember that, but for him to remember that is just like, wow. I remember all those things.
Yeah, there's definitely like certain little memory. I've, just playing at different bars around Montana, Idaho, and stuff. And there's a few things that really stand out, and it's usually something like somewhat insane that somebody's doing out in the audience. That's like. And a lot of times it's, like, God, I hope they're not coming up here. It's like they're just a little crazy. And then there's also been like, there's just one bartender that I remember in a place called Red Lodge, Montana, and he was just nuts. And he just like for some reason, and this is like 30 years ago, I just remember this one guy. And he's probably not even around anymore. And I remember the owner yelling at our trumpet player because he wanted an advance on the money. And the way that he like lit into him and the look on the trumpet player's face was like, it was the most classic, like kind of old school, like this. It could have been like an old blues thing in some little club anywhere. But this happened to be here, and it just shut him up so hard and so fast.
It creates a memory. It's the one thing in the blur that you remember.
because the rest of us were just laughing. Like we even told him, like, don't ask him, man. He's gonna say no, and then he did. And
this wasn't during. Was this during a show?
No, it was
not during
nights.
a show.
This was 2 nights, so we played a Friday, Saturday, and I don't know why he needed the money early. It was like ridiculous, and he asked the guy, and it was like, yeah, he's shutting down hard.
Some people have big fun, huh?
Memories.
Yeah.
Memories.
But yeah, most of it you don't remember.
But kind of thinking about TTB, Adam, have y'all talked to them about how they record?
How Mariah and Christopher record their audio? I mean, a little bit. I had the picture up before.
But I was just wondering, man,
you had some questions for them.
Yeah, because it's like, I taped back in the 90s, and I did it for about 6 months when I realized there'd be somebody else going through everything. Man, it's like y'all do so much work, right? It's like I noticed y'all in Bend, right? It's like we're getting there. We noticed you've been in line for, at least an hour already, and then you get in, as quickly as you can to find the right place to put your rigs, and everything. And it's like, it's just so awesome that y'all are willing to do that all the time. I mean, even going to the point to where, I'm not going to say you were looking silly, but when you had the 2 mics, sticking out of your hat, it's like you're thinking about all these things to get the best recording to for yourselves and to share with us. And it's like, so, do you do that with other bands, or do you mostly do it with just TTB?
Well, mostly TTB, but we record other bands too.
Yeah, we'll record.
I mean,
if they let us, we'll do it. We got a really good Little Feet recording this year. We have some Goose recordings that are okay.
Yeah, I like recording Goose. Goose is a challenge. They have some very big bass. It's hard to not get a lot of clipping, and so it's a challenge. But
mainly TTB.
Yeah, I think the biggest reason we get mostly TTB or more TTB than anybody else is because we try to see them more. That's one reason, and it's just limited here on what you can even see. And there's a lot of bands that don't allow it.
Yeah.
And we don't do stealth. We only do a loud recording.
Yeah.
So do y'all like, I mean, man, it's really expensive and a lot of work to record a show. And y'all record good shows. So, I mean, what drives you for that? It's like, because it's got to be like, man, I don't want to go through all this again. Or is that not it?
It wasn't worth it, I mean, and it's so cool. Like, I remember, there were like the Mark and Alecia, I wish I knew. I just remember thinking, like, this is so amazing. It's so amazing. It's so amazing. And I was like, oh, thank God it's being recorded,
Joe was the only people recording that I saw.
So,
yeah,
I think we were. I think we're the only ones.
Thank you for all you do, man. It's like, it's extremely appreciated.
There better be a Gorge recording coming out.
Yeah,
there better be. So we'll see. It's fun, and it's cool that they're cool with it. So that makes it even better.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's the only questions I had.
I appreciate it.
Adam, you're next. Your show's
LA. This they have Berkeley. Berkeley is first, I think, right?
Yep. I'm looking right now. Yeah, a couple days off. Berkeley on the 12th, LA on the 13th.
I think Michael Drum said he's going to Berkeley. Get him on to recap Berkeley, recap LA. Then they got a bunch more later this month. Anything else we should talk about? Cover? Rest in peace, Bobby Whitlock.
Yeah.
Good shows up TTB.
One thing I'd like to bring up about Bobby Whitlock, everybody that I'm talking to with all the people that we've lost, right? We're all kind of focused on the fact that we've lost somebody that was great. But we're kind of lucky as fans because we still got all their music to be with us. And, since I lost my wife, it's like, when I get the chance into this kind of conversation, I always like to say something about, yes, man, grieving the loss does suck. But, man, there was so much cool that he did, and so many things that he was a part of. That I've been listening to his stuff ever since this afternoon when I found out. And remembering it's like, you think Eric Clapton and his guitar, but then you listen to Bobby's keyboards and the songs that he wrote that Eric is singing and all that kind of stuff, and it's also cool. It's like, yes, we lost the person who's doing it, but like most of us, as we get old, we're at the end of our life. We're not doing what we did when we were 20. So we've got this really cool thing to hold on to, and all those connections. I mean, I've also queued up now. I haven't listened to George Harrison in years, so I've queued some of that up. Some Delaney and Bonnie, looking for when did he sit in with Dr. John, and when did he play for him? And it's like, it's kind of a really nice kind of way to get out into different music, and you hear it differently because the keyboards, you generally maybe a quarter of a song you think about keyboards, the rest of the time you don't. So it's kind of nice to be focusing on that, or looking for a liner note going, maybe now that I know he played guitar too, it's like, did he play guitar on this song? So I just want to make death something good, man. It's like, it's a huge loss, but a lot of cool shit still.
That's what I was going to comment on, is the idea of like, because sometimes I'm weird about because I do see on Instagram, people will commemorate deaths of artists all the time. Here's a post, they died, and even tragic ones at that. And I'm kind of, to me, maybe it's a little bit morbid, but at the same time, I totally get why. Even if it's just an excuse to post something or share something or listen to a music or dive deeper, then ultimately it's a good thing. You're turning darkness into light in a lot of way, turning, using the end of their life as a way to remember what happened during that and their contributions and to this world and to an impact and influence and by celebrating their art and their work. So I think it's a good thing in that regard. It's going to say what you were describing is going to happen to me. I'm going to be doing a little bit more of a deep dive. I already kind of was while we're streaming and learning myself more. And then when you learn more and you're educated more, it just makes for a richer experience as a fan. Thinking about I can't imagine you have a unique experience as a Tedeschi Trucks Band fan and as a fan of Derek Trucks because of your own antics or birthday presents, whatever you want to, cakes.
Yeah.
And that makes it for a richer experience, just having that one small connection with Derek. It just makes it that much more fun and a meaningful experience to hear him play Down in the Flood or whatever the case may be, whatever songs and whatever moments you may have. I don't know. They're definitely part of our journeys in our lives. And even when we were talking about with La Di Da, these songs take on different meanings at different points in our lives and stay timeless. What other music can stay timeless in the way that TTB's does? But
yeah.
Cool.
I guess the only other thing I want to talk about is that co-headlining thing. Because I've been following this thing because I was only going to go to one show and I wanted to know which one was going to play last. And so pretty much online, it was telling me that if you go to the website of the actual venue itself, if they're playing any night and there's a co-headliner, they will always list it however they're supposed to go on. And that's what everybody told me online. Well, it changed a week out?
Yeah.
Because the second show was supposed to have Whiskey Meyer being the second.
Yeah.
And a week ago, somebody goes, no, look at the poster. Right here, it says Whiskey Meyer's on first. So I'm not sure it's a hard and fast rule, but
with means when it says with, that's the group is going on first, is the with that group, and then that I think is right.
Yeah.
Again, that's what I was saying. That's I think don't move our we got don't confuse us. The whoever's planning these tours. We were saying how that it may have kind of caught us a little bit off guard, unless TTB only opens for the Eagles or
Yeah, well, I mean, hell, you look at just the arenas that they play in, that kind of commands that kind of artists they are. But yeah, but it's I was thinking it's okay, I'll put up with TTB first because it's going to be my only time this year to see them. So I'm getting my thoughts up about that and how it's really okay, you know, and making it all okay. And then to have them change it, it's like, man, of course it's rock and roll. What the hell?
Good stuff. Good stuff, guys. Thank you so much for the time. Hour 20 minutes means a lot. Kirk, do you have any more shows? Do either and Mariah, do any of you guys have any more shows coming up this?
Not right now.
Not right now. Yeah, they're moving back. They're moving back east a little bit. I got people talking to me about Syracuse and some other shows and things coming up down the pike. But yeah, it's West Coast. We finally get a little bit of attention.
Yeah.
it's all good. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for the time. Means a lot. The stories, and it really does. I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, do all the things. I'll get an audio version out of this later tonight. Tomorrow, TedeschiTrucksBand.com, the band's official website. Join the Swamp family. Download the app. Do all those things. Thank you, band, crew, fans, people watching, all those things. And let's talk soon. Later, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, Adam.
See you later.